Earthlings. It's your space creature ambassador from planet X212. Yes, it's me, Lindley. I hope you enjoyed my first episode, and honestly, all I want in this life is for you to just laugh a little bit and feel a little bit better and just de-stress. So, today's episode will be all about my money moves and money problems, my credit score, how I paid off my student loans, and my current credit card debt. Yes, I'm still in debt. So this episode is going to be a very vulnerable episode, and honestly, it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable and very embarrassing for me, but you know what? Life is a journey of consistently inconsistent emotions. Am I right? Life is not a plateau of good feeling emotions where we flatline at contentment all the time. No, I like to put myself in tumultuous situations because you know what? When you're down, you really appreciate the up. Okay, so before we begin, I like to thank my big sis, Lauren, because she is the first person I personally knew and know who paid off her student loans. And she is definitely one of the big motivating factors as to why I paid off my student loans. Because if she could do it within a couple years, I was like, I can do it too. And guess how much she paid off, y'all? Nearly $60,000. But to be exact, she said it was $58,000 and some change. Okay, listen, my big is a boss. First of all, she is one of the smartest people I know and one of the most hardworking people I know. She may be tiny, but she is mighty. She works multiple jobs and she does not let people steer her away from her goals. She's very honest and direct, which I very much appreciate, and she gets shit done. That's how she paid off her student loans within a few years of graduating grad school with a master's degree. Okay, I wanted to do an episode on money and financial health because talking about money has definitely become less taboo, and we need to break that aura of money being mysterious and that friends don't talk about money. Friends can talk about money, and I talk about money quite transparently with my best friend Vivian all the time. We talk about how much debt we have, our savings goals, and how much money we make. On Reddit, there's a subreddit called Money Diaries Active, and it's a space where women can talk about money, debt, career goals, and how much is spent and saved. I go on there every day, and the money diaries that these women post really motivate me to get serious about my salary and make more boss moves. I really recommend this subreddit if you are a fellow Redditor like myself. Okay, let's really begin and start getting to the juicy details of my financial journey. So, growing up, my mom always told me to save my money, and what did I do? Reverse psychology, baby. My first job, I did not save $1 of it and spent it at the thrift store and bought random gifts for my friends. Before I went to college, I qualified for financial aid, but that didn't cover all of the dorm expenses. And around that time, like in high school, a lot of people made it seem like student loans was normal and feasible and easy and manageable, and don't worry, like you'll pay it off by the time you graduate college and get a good paying job. Oh, how the truth hits you. Okay, friends. By the time I graduated, I took out in total $14,000 in student loans. I was 17 when I signed up to take out my very first loan, and essentially we're asking teenagers to take out thousands of dollars when there isn't really a promise of them being employed after they graduate. My classmates really made it seem like loans were normal and that they were worth it. But oh, how the American dream sells us nothing but debt and more debt. The white picket fence that most people have financed on a monthly payment with a contractor? Don't get me started. Anyways, going back to my college debt, I graduated $14,000, right? Tell me why I took out $5,000 in the spring of my senior year and I kept that money in my savings account and it just disappeared. I don't know where it happened. I don't know where that money went. I know I used some of it to fix some car problems, but where is it now? It's gone. I was 21 and I did not know how to budget. I remember in 2016, I had learned about Vanguard, which is a retirement fund company. You can also invest stocks with them. I told myself that I would put some of that $5,000 into a Vanguard account so that it could grow. I did not open a Vanguard account until 2018. We will talk about that later. After I graduated college, I moved back to Sacramento, and my mom was very generous and gracious and gave me a really good head start on paying off my student loans. She gave me $3,000 to pay off my student loans. I was living with her rent-free, so I should have been able to pay off my student loans rather quickly, but getting a full-time job in Sacramento was not as easy as it could have been in the vast job market of Orange County. I applied to an advertising agency, but I didn't even get an interview. I ended up getting a tutoring job and a job at Nordstrom. Listen, when I got that job at Nordstrom, I thought I was going to be racking in the money because I read this Tumblr blog about this girl who worked there and she was making $2,000 per paycheck because of the commission. So I'm super excited because, embarrassing, I had accumulated so much debt on my credit cards from, as I confess, from my Vegas trips and hotel shenanigans. I don't even remember the amount, but it was over $1,000, and my other credit card had over $1,000 on it too. Listen, I was just swiping my card like I never had to pay it off and buying tickets to raves to see DJs I don't even listen to anymore. Oh, young me. I always joke about being young again, but do I really want to be young again? That bitch didn't know shit about money, and she didn't know what a good credit score was. Anyway, I'm working at Nordstrom, and after a few months of working there, even after the holiday season, after taxes, I was making about $7 an hour. So that job was not cutting it, and my tutoring job was very much a part-time job where after taxes and considering my driving time to the student's home, I was making $10 an hour. Needless to say, this was not the money I thought I'd be making after college. It was a struggle both financially and mentally because I kept comparing myself to my peers who had full-time jobs already, and I'm sure they were making way more money than me. I've gotten a lot better with comparison, so there's some self-growth. Now I only compare myself to who I was yesterday and who I was in the past. I don't compare myself to someone else because that is just not my life and I don't know what they're going through. It's 2017. I found a new job where I made more in tips, so I quit Nordstrom. And then a few months later, I quit my tutoring job as well. I started making a lot of fast cash because of the tips, but for some reason, my credit card debt was not going down the way I expected. Maybe because I was throwing $100 to my multiple credit cards and interest was like $50, so I really wasn't tackling the principal amount, and I was just feeding the beasts of these corporate institutions because of my reckless mistakes and unchecked behavior. By this time, I had the Target credit card with at least $900 on it because I went to Target so many times with my little sisters, and a Nordstrom credit card with at least $1,000 on it because I celebrated Christmas once with my 2 friends and 3 little sisters. It had been months of this disastrous money management, but I thought this system was fine because I told myself, eventually I'll pay this off, like it's okay. That mentality of mine was what robbed me of my hard-earned money because I gave thousands, I'm sure, in interest to these credit card companies. Okay, so months have passed, and now it's the year 2018. In the month of August, I opened up an IRA with Vanguard and deposited $3,000 total. Could I have thrown that into my credit card debt? Yes, but my brain wasn't completely formed yet, okay? I was 23. A couple months later, in October, I interviewed for my current job, and in November, I started. Around that time, I discovered Asia Ding on YouTube, where she showed off her enormous balance of $250,000 student loan debt. I was like, holy shit. That's a lot of fucking money that she has to pay back. And it feels evil somehow. It feels wrong. But that's just the education system of America. Anyway, it made me look at my own student debt. Around that time, I had maybe $8,000 or $9,000 left because since I had graduated in 2016, I would throw my tax returns at it. And every month, I tried to pay $100. So I've been chiseling a bit at my debt, but it was still there. It's January 2019, and I start to get really serious with my money. I wanted to be debt-free. After watching Dave Ramsey videos on YouTube, I too wanted to scream, I'm debt-free! Anyway, what I believe made my student loans go away at a much faster rate was throwing $1,000 at it each month. So I moved all my credit card bills to be due at the first of the month, and with my second paycheck of the month, I get paid bi-monthly at my job. I hate it, but it is what it is. I throw my second paycheck of the month into my student debt. Okay guys, but remember, I still have credit card debt. So in March of 2019, I took out a personal loan with Upstart at an interest rate of 5%, and it was a 5-year loan to pay off all my credit cards. I took out $8,000 because they take some of the money out of your loan to pay for the fees and the startup fee. Listen, like I had to take out more than what I really needed because they're going to take some of that money. So one thing I really want to stress is that we cannot get caught up in the daydreams of what could have been or the what ifs. It's not good for us to live in an alternate dimension when we're richer and we had graduated with no student debt. Reality isn't always comfortable and fun, but it's real and it's what we can control. I could have managed my credit card swiping hand skills better, but I didn't. So at that time, I'm 24 and I'm finally taking some action and I'm gonna be paying off all of my mistakes. But then I drank this imaginary glass of dumb bitch juice and I opened up 2 credit cards and racked up more debt because of the introductory 0% APR for 12 months. Oh my God, was I not learning my lesson? Apparently. So that year, I took out a loan with Bank of America for $5,000 for 0 interest for a year to pay off those 2 credit cards. So by that time, I have begun budgeting and planning out my paychecks. And with the Bank of America loan, I had a plan to pay that $5,000 off at least a month or 2 before the 1 year hit because I didn't want to pay interest on that huge ass loan. Oh God, I finally learned that interest is a scam and I'm no longer going to be that sheep that pays interest. So I had begun budgeting, as I had said earlier. So my money management skills were, quote, quote, better, but only because before that, my money management skills were piss poor. So it was just like a little improvement, but it's not where I want to be. Okay, after months of throwing $1,000 a month into my student loans, on September 13th, 2019, I was officially student debt-free. I celebrated with my friends because I was also going to get a raise. And so, of course, naturally, I blacked out and danced embarrassingly in public. What else is new? But I don't black out anymore, okay? Right, back to the money. So, 2020 had arrived. I can't believe this is the same year. The pandemic makes everything feel like it's been 2 years in one. Time is nothing but a curvature of gravity. Anyway, it's 2020. I was paying off my Upstart loan, which is a personal loan, and I had planned and projected myself to pay it off before the summer hit. My minimum payment was only $150, and my monthly payments would range from $200 to $800. And then the pandemic hit in March, and I wasn't sure if I would still have my job because I'm an anxious person, and also because our clinics had less and less visits. So I reduced my payments to $200 and started saving the rest of my money because 1, I had just moved out of my mom's house and I needed to save for rent. And 2, we didn't know how long this pandemic is going to last. A few months pass and it's summer. I started feeling more confident about my job after talking to my boss, and I started throwing more money into my Upstart loan. So by August, I had paid my last payment of $600 and something, and I was officially done with that loan. What I also did that summer was that I took all of my savings and the stimulus check that we got, and I threw it into, remember my loan with Bank of America? Yes, I threw so much of my money into it, and I was done with it, right? Because I wanted to officially declare to myself, like, I'm no longer gonna be that fool who pays interest any longer. It may have taken me years to get here, but I am here now, and that's all that matters. Okay, repeat after me. Interest is a scam. So, I paid off my Upstart personal loan, I paid off my Bank of America loan, and I paid off my student loans at this point. I was like, you know what? I am finally leveling up in this bitch. Watch out, world. I am a responsible adult now. Like, who gonna handle me? Moving along. A few months ago, I started to budget myself $100 per credit card. Once I reached $100, I would turn over that credit card in my wallet so I knew not to use it. And every paycheck, I've been paying off my credit cards in full because I only rack up $100 for 4 or 5 credit cards. Wow, I feel so responsible now. I don't pay interest anymore because now I understand the consequences and the ramifications of my card swiping skills. Now I value every single freaking dollar and cent I earn post-tax. Anyway, so at this point, you think that I would be credit card debt free now, right? You would think that after taking out like $13,000 in personal loans to pay off credit cards, and then after paying $15,000 in student loans, because I had accrued $1,000 in interest total, that I would have no more credit card debt, right? Unfortunately, I still have debt, but I have a plan. Okay, if you know me, you know I have a dog named Logan. I love him so much. He has taught me so much about patience and perseverance and just never giving up. But this dog has put me into so much debt. So I have a care credit card, which I primarily use for his vet visits. Now, at first, I didn't get this card because of him, because I had this wisdom tooth that was growing in at an angle, and it was damaging my other tooth. Boom, boom, boom. Listen, that wisdom tooth was being a bully, and so I had to get that wisdom tooth removed, and I had to get a bone graft because my molar was being damaged by the bully of my former wisdom tooth. Listen, that bone graft was $600 because it was not covered by Denti-Cal. So the dental treatment coordinator, she got me approved for the care credit card, and I walked out of the Western Dental Clinic with another debt on my shoulders. Luckily, my mom helped me pay some of it, and within a few months, that card was paid off until Logan needed a haircut. Okay, long story short, Logan is very aggressive, and he cannot be groomed by a regular groomer. Like, we took him to PetSmart or Petco before, and he was a disaster. So he needs to be sedated and just be medically groomed where everything's shaved off. So in 2016 or 2017, I found a vet who does sedation and medical grooming, and Logan comes out looking like a pig because all his hair is gone and he's overweight, he's a little pink. So the very first time, it was a little bit of a shock for my family, but it was worth it because all of his hair was gone and no one got bit in the process. However, the vet bill, I can't remember the first one, but I've been going to this vet for years now. I go every 3 to 4 months, and the bill is always between $200 and $300. But it's what we have to do for Logan, and it's what we've been doing, and you know, the vet's used to him, the staff is used to him, and I think he's gotten used to it. So luckily, Care Credit has promotional offers where any purchase over $200, you get 6 months to pay it off interest free. That's what I like to hear. So every one of Logan's visits have qualified for these promotional offers. So you would think that, like, I don't have any more debt with Care Credit, right? Wrong. Listen, there came a time where it wasn't Logan putting me in debt. It was me. Yes. When I finally got proper dental insurance through my job, I went to see a dentist, and he told me I had receding gums. I was shocked. Like, how? Here's how. I guess my fear of feeling plaque and feeling like I didn't brush my teeth enough caused my gums to recede. Also, I used an electric toothbrush, and I would brush really hard for 2 minutes, but I didn't feel like I brushed really hard. But okay, we gotta trust the doctors of dental surgeries. Like, their degrees overpower my opinion of myself. Anyway, I get a referral to see a periodontist. I go and he measures my gums and tells me how much I receded per tooth. He said, you're gonna need gum graft surgery, and that is when they take some tissue from the top of your mouth and then they put it into where your gums are and they stitch it up. Listen, I don't know why, but when he was describing the procedure, I started tearing up. The dental assistant gave me a tissue, and the doctor, he was like, oh, because I see that you're very nervous, I'm going to prescribe you some sedation medicine. And listen, I ended up not taking that sedation medicine because my cheap ass, it costs $100 for them to monitor you when you're sedated. So I decided not to take the sedation medicine and saved myself $100. But then when I got to the appointment, I started to tearing up a little bit, and the procedure went well. I was just so nervous and it just felt weird, and I don't want to go through that again. I only did my right side, and the doctor was saying if I take care of my left side, I won't have to get surgery on that side. So I have been taking heed of his advice. I do not want to pay that amount of money again, and I do not want to go through that surgery again. So the surgery cost, after my insurance covered about 60%, it cost over $1,000. So I put it on my care credit, and for any amount over $1,000, they give you a whole year paid off. Okay, so I got this surgery in 2019, and I had made it my goal to pay it off before the 1 year in 2020. Oh God, I am just the cause of my own demise. Listen, I no longer use electric toothbrushes on my teeth. I use it on my tongue, and I still have to fight myself. I have to fight against the urge to go ham on my teeth when I'm brushing it. But I remind myself of the debt, and suddenly my hands start lifting and I apply less pressure and I start brushing softly. It's wonderful. So I ended up paying my care credit debt a little bit faster than I had planned. So my plan was just to pay $100 a month, and I would be done in 10 months. And then I started doing $200 a month because I was like, the sooner I am out of this debt, even though there's no interest, the sooner I can save. So I don't remember exactly which month I paid it off, but I definitely paid it off before the 1 year, before the interest could accrue. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on currently in my finances. It's December 2020. Let me give you an update on all of my debts. As of December 22nd, I have $700 in my care credit. I put one of my dental treatments with my new dentist on care credit, and then Logan had an appointment recently. I'm certain care credit will be in my life for many years because that is how I'm gonna pay for my nose job and my boob job. So that's a card I'm definitely not canceling. And I am going to be making a $100 payment when I get paid on the 31st to my care credit. So there's that credit card that I have debt on. Okay, so I lived beyond my means this pandemic. I had accrued so much debt on my new Chase credit card. And I had gotten it last December because it had a 15-month zero interest APR. And that's what I do to myself. Dave Ramsey says people with credit cards spend more than they have to, and I am one of those people. I wanted to say I was one of those people, but obviously I'm still in debt, so I'm still with those people, but that's gonna change in 2021. Okay, let me tell you how much I owe on my Chase credit card. It used to be $3,000. I don't even want to tell my boyfriend that because he's just gonna be like, oh my God, what is wrong with you? Okay, as of today, December 22nd, I owe $1,773 on my Chase card. And because I don't have any interest being charged until March, my goal is to pay this off by February. And every paycheck I have budgeted myself to throw about $500 to $600 at it. So I should be done within 3 paychecks, maybe, okay, 4 for it to be completely gone. And after that, I will stick to my $100 limit per credit card. I actually want to change my limit to $50 per credit card, but I think that's just unrealistic for me because a full tank of gas is like $36 and I get gas like every week. And anyway, moving along, I have another debt. I am just so American, girl. I got a lot of consumer debt. What about you? Okay, I have about $600 on my PayPal credit because they be getting me with that interest free for 6 months for any purchases over $100. So I bought some jewelry pieces from Tory Burch for my boyfriend's mom because last year she got me a gift and I was like, oh my god, like I don't even celebrate Christmas, and she got me a gift, so I feel like I have to get her something back. But this year I'm gonna tell her, don't get me anything anymore, like I don't need anything. Anyways, I got some jewelry on there. I got my boyfriend some hoodies because I keep stealing his, and I also put on my PayPal credit a gift card for my friend's birthday. So I'm gonna pay that off within 6 months from now. So currently I am throwing $100 per month into the PayPal credit, but once I'm done paying off my Chase credit card in February, I'm gonna start doing like $200 a month to PayPal so that I can be done before interest has even a thought to accrue. Because listen here, interest is a scam, remember. So I am not gonna let myself fall for that anymore. I'm not that bitch anymore. 2021, I'm gonna be the financial bitch. Okay, so this pandemic has really made me reassess my finances, and you know what, like this isn't a race, this is a journey, and my finances are mine. I don't want to say it's good, it's bad, because that just makes me want to like compare myself, and I don't want to look down on others who are in way more student debt, who have more credit card debt, or who make less money than me to make me feel better about myself. Like I have to really just hone in on myself and only focus on my own troubles, my own financial plans. Like I gotta focus only on me. We just have to focus on ourselves, our own money, and just put all that energy into achieving our goals. So one comment I just want to share is that the more honest we are with ourselves, the faster we can improve and change ourselves for the better. What a life to live, where we can change who we are and live to see ourselves become the hero, not the villain. Okay, quickly, I just want to talk about my credit score. I looked at 3 accounts of mine and they all gave me different credit scores. So my Bank of America says that my score is 766. My Barclay account says it's 780. And Chase, for some reason, says my score is 784. But you know what? I like to humble myself. I like to be realistic. I like to not get my head too big. So let's just say my credit score is 750. It's not bad, but it's not the goal that I want to reach. The goal I set for myself by the time that I'm 29 is to have an 800 credit score. And I set the goal to the age of 29 because I know that I need my credit cards to age a little bit more, because I have some credit cards that are 2 years old and some that are 7 years old, and a couple that I just opened up a couple weeks ago. Oops, I'll talk about that. So I just need time to do its thing so that my credit card accounts can age and that some credit inquiries can fall off. Okay, let's talk about the credit cards I just opened. If you are Christine Tong, you know that I really like my American Express credit card. I love the app interface. I love the user experience. I love that you can just pay off small transactions, kind of like a debit card. So if I spend $20 at Trader Joe's and $7 at CVS, the next day after the transactions are no longer pending, I can just pay it off. So it's like I use my debit card, but I got cash back. And so that leads to my point that I opened a new credit card with American Express. I don't even know which one it was. It's like the next step up, but it doesn't have an annual fee. And I like it because it has a promotional offer of $150 or $200 back when you spend $500 within your first 3 months. That is something I'm going to achieve because I'm going to New York in February. So my little sister moved into college. So the Airbnb, the food, the transportation, the renting the car. I know that the $500 spending requirement is going to be met within probably the day I booked the Airbnb. So there's that. The second credit card I opened was, oh God, it might be controversial. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I opened up an Apple card, and I don't know if I did it because of the hype or because I wanted to increase my credit limit. But with the Apple credit card, they only gave me $3,000, which is such a slap in the face because their MacBooks cost $2,000 with all the upgrades that I want. And I don't know the credit limit of my new American Express card. I guess I'll see it when I receive it in the mail. So I got the Apple credit card because they have a partnership with T-Mobile where you can get 3% cash back if you do an auto pay with them. I originally had it set to my Chase credit card, the one with the really huge balance, and I was getting 1.5% cash back on that. But if I put my T-Mobile bill on the Apple credit card, I will get 3% cash back, which is double the cash back. So that will help lower the balance of the Chase credit card. And the numbers are going to be the same when you add them all up of how much is coming out of my account, but it seems less stressful and easier on my mind and my budget numerically to see this data. So that is how I am sorting and justifying my recent credit card accounts that I just opened. Okay, so remember that time earlier when I said I deposited $3,000 into my Vanguard? Well, this year, after my great friend Christine Tong pushed me to get into stock, my $3,000 has grown into a really lovely amount of about $6,500. So I only really started to dabble in stocks this year, and I am okay with that. I didn't know anything about stocks. I only knew that the IRA was an individual retirement account and that it would grow on its own with compound interest, but I was only really getting 2% with the $3,000 that was sitting there. So one year was like $30 and another year I had $60. Listen, that was not doing much. So Christine just hit me up one day and she was talking about stocks, and I was just so scared. I was like, I don't really know. So I started researching it and started researching the companies, looking at their financials, looking at how much money they got going on, looking at their news and their PR. So I started buying small stock, and slowly but surely I have grown my IRA to be doubled. And not only is it something that I want to build a little nest egg for the future, but I also want to use my IRA as my house down payment savings account. So one of the exceptions of withdrawing from your IRA before the age of 59 and a half is for your first home purchase. I think the limit is $10,000. So, once I reach $10,000 in there, I will mentally start over, and that will be for my retirement. I don't know if I even explained that correctly. Don't quote me on that. Please go on Vanguard and read the exclusive and legit and official wording yourself. I am just explaining it in a way that I understand it. So for 2021, my goal is to max out my Roth IRA so that I'll be able to have that $10,000 in my IRA and also just starting to build my retirement fund. So if you want to max out your Roth IRA, it's $6,000. And I plan to do that by saving at least $500 to $1,000 a month once I pay off my Chase card. And honestly, I just really need to live below my means. And it's funny that I say that because one time my little sister Lucy, she asked me years ago, she's like, how do you live at home rent-free and still have student loans? I was like, dang girl. The truth hurts, but it pushes you to do better. So I will definitely do an update at the end of December 2021 to let you know how I'm doing financially, and hopefully by then I'll reach my goals. I went through my Barclay statements and I saw one bill and it said that I paid $134.98 in 2019 in interest. That's how much I paid in interest, $134.98. I could have bought some Planet Fitness stocks with that money. But all jokes aside, let's not get caught up in what we did in the past. Like, let's focus on the present moment and what we can do now so that we can set ourselves up for success. And I looked at my recent Barclay statement, and this is what it said. Total amount paid in interest, $0 and 0 cents in 2020. Oh my gosh, I am just so proud of myself, and I have definitely learned a lot. It's gonna take me a while to really hone in on my spending, because prior to the pandemic, like, I love buying skincare and makeup, and okay, honestly, I think my biggest problem is food. Like, I love eating out. There's no really like solid, definite, exclusive one reason only why I love food. Like, I just love food. I love eating out, and you know what, like, we all have our vices. These last 2 weeks of December, I just really want to like plan out my 2021 goals, and so it's a mixture of financial goals and personal goals, but a lot of it has to do with my finances. So the first one is save $10,000 by the end of December 2021. And for this one, it's definitely for me to see my net worth. So it's going to be across my IRA, my checkings account, my personal savings account. Okay, so that's my first goal. Save $10,000 by the end of December 2021. My second goal is to pay off the Chase card by March 2021. My third goal is to increase my credit limits by October 2021. I try to do it every 6 months, but I don't think my credit card companies like me that much. But I think every year is very doable and appropriate. My fourth goal is to buy a new car by October 2021, which I think I'm going to push to December because I think that's a better time to buy a car. I had a goal to buy a new MacBook, and now that I'm thinking about it, I think I need to think about it a little bit more, because I don't really think I really need a new MacBook. I put it there as one of my goals to just kind of like mentally prepare myself for that kind of purchase. 6, maintain 0% interest with Care Credit all year long, because remember, folks, interest is a scam. Okay, friends, so that was my financial journey, my credit card journey that I'm very much still on. I talked about my credit score and my goals for the next year. So let me know what your goals are. Let me know what you want to achieve in 2021. Because there's just something about writing it down and looking at it like every week or every month to just really put yourself into that zone of focus. And when you achieve goals, especially when it comes to money, like saving an X amount or paying off a card, it's just a really great feeling. And it's one of those rare occasions that I really like adulting. So I will see you in the next episode. The next episode is going to be how I became Lindley, because I was not born with this name. I changed my name when I was in high school. So stay tuned, and I will catch you later. Peace out, Girl Scout.